You need to be right a lot because a lot of others are dependent on you to make the right decision at that point of time. That change and how quickly you understand, realize that and make that change is what will help you, continue on a successful journey.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever, received?
If you want something, ask for it without hesitation. The worst that can happen is they'll say no. You are in no worse position than when you started. And Amazon is fast-paced, is difficult, is challenging, but it's also very rewarding.
Welcome to another fun episode of Amazon Unplugged. Our guest today, with over 17 years of experience, contributed immensely to several India-first initiatives at Amazon that have empowered small businesses to go big. Please welcome Vivek Somareddy, VP Seller Experience Emerging Markets and Indian Global Trade. During his tenure at Amazon, he has led several teams including customer service and supply chain operations. Vivek also led the launch of India Seller Lending Program. Currently, Vivek's team is responsible for driving the growth of seller business across emerging markets. From Australia to Latin America, as part of global trade, his team helps Indian MSMEs to sell to customers globally and create a strong global brand. Thank you, Vivek, for joining us today.
Thank you, Raju, for having me. Glad to be here.
We'll start with your journey and, little about all these 17 years that you've been with Amazon. How's your journey been so far?
I've actually joined Amazon twice, so I'm a boomerang.
Wow.
I started as a developer in Seattle and then rejoined through the Pathways program, which is, the operations leadership development program. So after I graduated from Pathways, I've been working in India as part of the launch team. So was one of the folks who was there involved in setting up the fulfillment centers, mostly the technology side of it.
Wow.
And then by the time India launched, then that's when I started as a FBA leader in India, and been a fantastic journey both previously and in the India business. So currently I look after seller experience for emerging markets. So myself and my team, we are responsible for helping the growth of the seller business across all of emerging markets. I also lead the India Global Trade business, which is about helping sellers in India reach customers across any of our established marketplaces worldwide. And in addition to that, we have a few what we call startup initiatives. This is about digitizing seller ecosystem of Amazon. We see a really big need to use all the capabilities we have built, the technology, the logistics, and the rest of the capabilities to go help these brands succeed. So we have a few startup initiatives. We call it the smart commerce initiatives, and there's a bunch of work my team is doing on that.
You mentioned about global trade and, the pace at which India's e-commerce market is growing, it's phenomenal. So I wanted to understand from you, how is this transformation specifically from the Global Seller Program, and how is that helping all of the new startups as well as the organizations which are now wanting to sell on Amazon globally? How's that fueling the export?
E-commerce, if you just think of e-commerce in India, the journey over the last 10 years has been amazing. In India, we have been doing a lot of work in terms of setting us up as Amazon and helping the growth of the e-commerce journey. A lot of innovations have come out of looking at what our customers and sellers need in India. A couple of them which we started in India, a couple of programs, and because I'm in the seller side, some logistics programs such as Seller Flex, Easy Ship, seeded in India, and now are there. Each of them are there in 11 plus countries. One of our first goals we took is we need to be able to reach customers in every serviceable PIN code in India, and we have achieved that. So that is also a matter of pride for us, and enabling the seller ecosystem to be able to make brands grow their businesses, and the journey which we have helped create, and the brands we have helped create, and just the livelihoods we have helped support has been an immense source of satisfaction for us. And the global selling part of it especially is a very exciting opportunity. So while we were focused on India, we also realized the immense potential of manufacturers, brands, and just the entrepreneurship that is there from the Indian seller base. And then why limit them to customers in India? We have customers across the world, and we should be able to give them access to those customers. So that's why we set up the global selling program. Right now we have over 150,000 sellers on the global selling program from across 200 different cities in India. So it's pretty widespread. It's not limited to major metros or anything. And the program scaling very well. I think by the end of the year we'll achieve about $13 billion in cumulative exports.
Wow. It's fascinating like how the seller ecosystem is so important and the lives that it is impacting for, because all of these sellers are, smaller companies in itself, and some are large as well, and they employ people, and with their growth, so it's the number of jobs that are getting created is huge.
Like you said, the seller ecosystem is super important because we cannot innovate product. What we can do is facilitate.
Yeah.
Right? Think of it like crowdsourcing ideas. That's what's really happening here. Our effort was to give them the space to go and market that, help them with the capabilities to create the entity or the accounts in the other marketplaces, help them take the goods from here to there, help them get the money back when the sales are happening. So we are a big facilitator, but unless all these entrepreneurs are given a platform, which is our effort, we wouldn't have had the breadth of selection, neither domestically nor globally. But the global selling business is like, if you compare to a domestic market, global selling business is almost 80 to 90% all brands and entrepreneurs, and very less what we call as resellers or somebody just sourcing and distributing, but more of creating goods. And that's what's happening from a global selling perspective.
Wow, that's very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I'm keen to know, 17 years is a very long time in any company, I think more so in Amazon. What are the skills that have fueled, your adaptability and the way you've kind of grown as a leader? And any challenges that you want to talk about that you faced along the way?
We have our leadership principles. And for me at least, those are the ones which, if one internalizes them and tunes oneself to really understand and operate in the framework of those leadership principles, that it'll really help them, build a successful career at Amazon. And once you start doing that, I started seeing, that it really worked. Even when I start working with teams across different geographies, this is one which I think is a very strong glue, which, helps us operate on a common platform. And I think it's because of the foundation of the leadership principles. The challenge, at least, I think, which comes in is you cannot treat all principles at the same level of importance all the time.
Yes.
Some of it happens because you are growing in the organization, and then your responsibilities increase and your stakeholders increase. And that point of time, you need to learn how to, earn trust. You need to be right a lot, because a lot of others are dependent on you to make the right decision at that point of time. That change and how quickly you understand, realize that and make that change is what will help you, continue on a successful journey.
Right.
And Amazon, for whatever it's worth, is fast-paced, is difficult, is challenging, but it's also very rewarding if you know how to, navigate through it.
Absolutely, and I can't agree more. Like, of course, leadership principles we kind of live, breathe every day, and it's not something that's referenced once a year and maybe during a feedback. It's actually how we operate. At Amazon, customer centricity is its DNA. It's one of our first principles, right? What inspires you the most in terms of driving that, enhancing the experience of our sellers, and making sure that we're working back from the right problem statement?
Yeah. I'll pick actually another leadership principle, invent and simplify. The independence which at least I have received, and most of the folks have, that to be able to go try things and see if the idea succeeds, and then if it starts working, making it big. is very satisfying. Amazon generally has fostered such an environment, and that was what really helped us. India was a very difficult market, it still is. What really helped us, establish ourselves well and build the things we needed to make the India business successful. So when I think of customer centricity or seller centricity, I think of like, what do they need? They have problems, they have challenges. I need to solve for them. And what is the quickest way and the most elegant way? That's why we changed from a minimal viable product to a minimal lovable product. What is the quickest lovable product we can get to them? And that has been the way, at least I try to display customer and seller centricity by inventing solutions which they'll need and find useful.
How would you characterize your leadership style, and what are the qualities that you look for when you're hiring people for your teams or within Amazon?
Broadly, at least right now, because it's a large organization, I deal with not just a large team but with a large set of stakeholders. My style is to lead with trust but also have the mechanisms to audit. Put enough mechanisms in place so that it can help you surface if there's any flags and any misses, so that you can then go dive deep on those particular areas versus trying to audit and check on everything. So that's the current mode of operations for myself. So as part of our recruiting process, just we're able to check the work experience, the number of LPs, bar raise, so that there's an independent view of a third party person coming in. So that process I really believe, and our success rate has been really, really high. From an internal employee, that's what I said, experiences, their ability to have had dealt with challenges, and have they done well at Amazon, and then from external, primarily through our recruiting process.
It's music to my ears whenever I hear leaders talking about how Amazon's hiring process is really effective. And there you go, for all of the people who are looking at a career at Amazon. Different experiences are definitely valued, and hence whenever you're applying for Amazon, try and showcase that. All right, we will move to a next section. We're going to flash a picture on screen, and you need to tell us what that reminds you of. Okay, can we see the first picture?
This would be from the Propel Accelerator program, where I think Bhupen is recognizing one of the winners of the Propel Accelerate contest. This is the program where we identify emerging brands, and then give them some support, both in terms of seed money, credits, and support and guidance from some well-established entrepreneurs.
Wow. Okay. We'll move to the next one.
It's from our Export Connect. This is the one where we bring our selling partners together for an event where we talk about their growth journeys, what we are doing at Amazon. We also have government participants to come and talk about some of the policy changes they're bringing in to facilitate exports from India.
Wow. Okay, we'll move to the next.
This would be from the Sambhav, I think, last year, where we signed a MOU with the government department.
And the MOU was regarding what?
India Post. It was with India Post. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, can we have the next one?
This is from the last all-team meeting.
Okay. And do you do that an annual? Is it
we
like
do
an
it.
annual
We try
affair?
to do it twice a year.
Okay.
Just to bring everybody together and then communicate any big changes, any strategic changes which are happening in the organization, and just reset our vision for our organization. There could be some important changes we are bringing through, or some new direction we are taking. It kind of helps to reset expectations to the entire team.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. And can we have the last one?
Yeah, this one is now historic, I think. This is from the war room at the night when we launched the India business.
Wow.
So
How was the energy in the room? And I can
Oh,
see
it
some
was
of-
amazing. I mean, I probably didn't realize it at that point of time, and somebody thankfully clicked a picture, but it was a lot of hard work up to that point.
Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you. For this segment, we have a visionary who has really used the Global Seller Program to expand and has continued to now be a very successful brand owner. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Meeta Sharma Gupta. Meeta, an alumnus of IIT Delhi and a PhD from Harvard University, couldn't find the kind of toys she wanted for her children in the market. Determined to make a change, in 2014 she founded Shumi Toys, a design-first, scientifically advanced company dedicated to making toys that are safe and long-lasting. Hi Meeta, welcome to Amazon Unplugged.
Hi, good to be here.
So it's inspiring to see Indian brands like Shumi Toys, making their mark worldwide. Could you share what inspired you to take your brand from India to a global stage, and how's your experience with Amazon, throughout the journey?
So when we started Shumi, the basic premise behind our brand is that we want to create open-ended, fun toys which are safe and sustainable. And we realized that our products are good. Our products are good in quality, they meet all the safety standards. So for us, it was but natural to go globally. And starting with US is what we started with, and now we are slowly expanded into Europe and UAE. And Amazon was the partner that we thought would be the right partner for us to go, because first of all, we understood the Amazon ecosystem pretty well in India. And second of all, it provided a good platform to launch the brand, because it helps to have a platform like Amazon where customers are already there. Thirdly, the customer insights that you get. I mean, you can largely see what is selling on Amazon, how are the customers reacting to your product. You get a lot of customer insights while you do your external research also. And then finally, I think the ecosystem of getting the customer reviews that Amazon has, that helps build the brand trust.
Thank you so much for sharing those insights, and I think it's very heartening to see entrepreneurs like you who are able to scale this at a global level and get so much success. Vivek, I'll come to you. Lately, we've seen many Indian brands gaining global recognition. What factors do you believe are driving this progress?
I think just from hearing Meeta, we could have gathered a few of those insights already. Identifying that need and then building the idea and design for product, and the quality of execution, just so that you can get it, the right material, the right product at the right price, so that it's valuable for the customer. And once they have this idea and the capability and the product ready, that's where like platforms like Amazon step in to help facilitate that that interaction between the buying customer and the creator.
So Meeta, I'll come to you next and talk about the challenges that you encountered while expanding your business internationally compared to selling in India. How did you navigate all of those challenges or differences?
So I think going into a global market comes with a little bit of nuances that you have to be careful with. While we knew our products are safe by all standards, but we did not have the required safety certificates across the board for all of them, but we went ahead. And when we hit the first bottleneck, when we were asked for all the certificates, then we realized that, okay, what has to be done and how to do it. And again, I think with Amazon's team's help, we were able to find the right vendors who could help us get it done in a timely manner. So it helped us. Then the logistics part of it, because that becomes a big hit for you when you are just sending small shipments, you're doing air shipments, you don't want to block too much inventory there because you're testing the market. So there it was eating into our P&L because it was a high cost. So initially to start with, and again, slowly as we started growing, we also started understanding different solutions, some through Amazon, some through different contacts. And then finally was also to get the right product mix. So while there are some similarities on which products will work across all the marketplaces, but there are still some differences.
So Vivek, what initiatives does Amazon have to really help all of these brands which are trying to be successful in the international market, and any success stories that you would like to talk about?
I think our focus is broadly on three vectors. One is identifying the markets where we believe Indian brands and products will find a great fit. The second big focus area for us is building tools and capabilities. We have a product called Spec, which we try to load it with all different types of product, cross-border, logistics compliance, payment compliance, so that at the time of them listing a product and everything, it kind of tells them that hey, this compliance may be required for your product, or they're trying to book a shipment for cross-border thing. It tells them that these are the documents you will need for making the shipment go through seamlessly. So that's one of the products we're building. We have a product called Send, which stands for Seller Export and Delivery. It's for getting inventory from here into the FBA warehouse globally. So we contract with third-party carriers, and then you can book the shipment as part of creating the shipment on Seller Central, which is the portal for sellers on the Amazon marketplace. The third is, of course, policy, where we work very closely with different government bodies in two formats. One is change of policy. Certain policies are there, and we're working with the government to say, this is what is the current policy, this is what needs to change to facilitate growth of cross-border exports. And the second, partnering with the government to actually scale the local export ecosystem. So that's one place where we have a very deep partnership with the government.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I have a question for you, Meeta. What advice would you give to other Indian entrepreneurs who want to make it successful and who are looking to take their brands globally through the platforms like Amazon?
So I think first of all, right now is a good time because there's a lot of support from Amazon as a platform, from the government to grow exports and to take brands from India to the global stage. While you do that, I think one of the important things is to understand the markets that you're getting into, because each market has some nuances, what kind of products can work there, how should you position your product. Then I think thirdly, again, compliances and regulations. So there are a lot of regulations and compliances that you have to deal with to have an understanding. And I think like what just Vivek mentioned, there's a lot of support that is coming from the Amazon global team to understand as you navigate these different marketplaces. Also, I think when you're going on a platform like Amazon, to understand how to do your listings, the keywords, they might be different than what they are in India or any other of the markets. Everything doesn't map one-to-one. So to get that insight and make it, that is one of the things where your discoverability can happen.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and your thoughts with us today. And I think it's going to help not only the sellers who are trying to go on this journey, but a lot of people who are in fact thinking about being an entrepreneur and how they can leverage platforms like Amazon to be able to embark on this journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the next section, Vivek. It's called Let's Fire It Up. So I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions, and you need to give the first response that comes to you.
Okay.
Describe your ideal weekend in 3 words.
Slow meal, more sleep, and maybe go out with family.
Okay, wonderful. I think the sleep part is common for me as well. If you were not doing what you are doing currently, what would you be doing?
Farming.
You'll be a farmer?
Yes.
Wow.
So I do have a farm.
Oh, wow.
My dad mostly looks after it, so bought it a few years ago.
Wonderful. So Vivek, how do you maintain work-life harmony? And of course, we know it can be demanding sometimes within Amazon or even other organizations, it is like that. So how do you maintain your work-life harmony?
I actually don't try to compartmentalize too much. I did try at one point of time. It got really stressful to say like this part is work, this part is non-work time, because it's just the dynamic nature of the work. It just doesn't allow it, which means that sometimes you have longer periods of high demand situations or high stress situations. What I try to do at least is, counter that or follow that through with a period of, less demanding time zones where I'm still doing the work, but I have fewer, maybe tough meetings, more time for myself to think through some pending tasks, and of course, scheduled downtime, like actual downtime where it's either a vacation or a time out with family, that I felt has helped at least me recharge really quickly and come back on the job, with full energy and enthusiasm.
Wonderful, thank you. What's your comfort food that helps you disconnect and, or you can eat anytime?
Oh, eat anytime, South Indian dosa.
Dosa. Okay, all right. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever, received?
If you want something, ask for it without hesitation. The worst that can happen is they'll say no, you are in no worse position than when you started.
Well, thank you, Vivek. That was fantastic, and I really enjoyed the conversation. But before we let you go, we have a small gift from an Amazon Karigar seller.
Likewise,
Must be
thank
one
you
of
for
the
the
sellers from
Our global
your
selling.
team that you manage.
Okay.
Here you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us for this particular episode. I really enjoyed my conversation with Vivek. It was really inspiring to see how Vivek's team is helping some of the sellers grow their brands globally and help them succeed. Let us know your thoughts in comments. You can also now listen to the podcast on Amazon Music, Spotify, or any other mediums that you consume your podcast. Thank you for joining us.